I do think that society places pressure on single adults to get into relationships. Sometimes people ask how I'm coping with this season of my life, which I always think is a funny question because I'm really quite enjoying myself. It can feel like society thinks that you're only successful if you're married and if you found your person, and if you haven't, there must be something wrong with you. Maybe you're too picky, or you're not open enough, etc. If we don't guard the way that we think, this way of thinking can leave people really discontent being single. I think single people fall into the trap of always thinking that the grass is greener on the other side, and that if only I found somebody, then I would be happy. But I love that verse in the Bible that says, godliness with contentment is great gain. I think that godly contentment is a real gift in every season of life, and being content with where God has you is what we should all aspire to. So I've dated 2 guys for a few months each, and I've always taken dating seriously. I wouldn't have got into the relationships if I didn't see the potential for those relationships to go the distance, but they didn't quite work out like that. And I must say, breaking up is not a favorite of mine. Both of these breakups happened on this one couch in my lounge, which we thereafter renamed the breakup couch. I never sit on it anymore. I think that the hard thing about relationships not working out is that all these thoughts start to go through your mind. Did I hear God wrong? What will people think of me? Is there something wrong with me? I've watched many people around me date and marry the first or second person that they dated, and so subconsciously I think I thought that it would be like that for me too. And then I had to face the feeling like a failure when those relationships ended. But in all honesty, in both those relationships, the day before we broke up, I literally prayed, Lord, if this guy is not in my future, please break this relationship off. And God took my prayer very literally. And so even though I can't always understand at the time, I can honestly say that I trust God wholeheartedly. He knows my future and He's never let me down. I remember a leader in the youth once teaching us that if you want to know what the focus of your life is, look at all that you spend your time thinking about, praying about, and speaking about. Sometimes I think for single people, marriage can become the focus of our thought life, our prayer life, and all that we speak about. And we think that God can only use us when we get married. But I really believe that God wants to use each of us in the place that we find ourselves in currently. He wants to be the focus of our prayer life, our thought life, and our speech. Practically, to make God a priority means to spend time with Him, reading the Word and prayer, not as an afterthought when we have spare time, but giving Him our very best time. I think it's also spending time with other people who put God first, which encourages us to do likewise, and also to get rid of distractions that try to take God's place as our top priority. In closing, I would like to share an excerpt that I read the other day that I think is very applicable as a single person. It says, patience is not merely the ability to wait, but also how we behave while we wait. We will all wait on many things in life, but to wait patiently is the goal that God had in mind for us. Waiting patiently is not possible unless we trust God's character is without flaw, and that He is good, and that He displays His goodness to us as long as we live. And so in whatever season we find ourselves in, we should aim to wait patiently to honor the Lord.